Well, hello again, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome to our practice report, brought to you by the awesome people at Mosaic. Headquartered here in St. Joe. They had a vaccination event today, actually, here on campus. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with Chiefs reporter Matt McMullen. A day in pads today. After having a day off, and then tomorrow we'll be flying to San Francisco. Curious how this day was going to be. It was red zone day at the ballpark. You can just see how this team is wanting to emphasize the red zone on both offense and defense.
We've seen that ever since OTAs, working on red zone work. And you think about this defense. How can they get better this year? Well, look what they did last season. They allowed 22.6 points per game, 10th best in the NFL. Highest red zone rate in the NFL, though. So when teams got into the red zone, they typically scored on this team. What's interesting, though, is the 6th fewest red zone drives allowed last season for the Chiefs. The Washington football team, who allowed the fewest, only yielded a few less. So this team was really, really good last year defensively. And if you can get a little bit better in the red zone, just a little bit better, all of a sudden the sky is truly the limit for what they can achieve.
Actually, it could be huge when you 77% last year touchdown rating. If you just dropped that, if we did the math earlier this spring, it can make a big effect on this team. All right, Tyreek Hill. We know about his career since 2016 and what he has done for this team and to become a premier wide receiver in the NFL. But one thing that's impressive about the Cheetah, how he continues to work at his craft. The red zone's a little tougher for him. You can't outrun everybody. You got to get open. But today I thought he was spectacular in the red zone.
Spectacular. And a couple of things here. First of all, he does still, this point in his career, he's a veteran. We know he's one of the best receivers in all of football. But he does not get the credit he deserves for being so much more than just a speed threat. He can jump higher than anybody. He's in incredible hands. And we saw that here today, making some fantastic catches, both in one-on-ones and later on in red zone drills. And what I love about Tyreek is no matter what kind of day it is, it's hot out here. We know it's the grind of camp. We know he's a star in this league, but he still goes out every single time and gives it his all. And that's what the veterans on this team do. They show the younger players that if you're out here practicing with the Chiefs logo on your helmet, you're giving it your all. And we saw that from Tyreek today. Some incredible acrobatic catches once again.
Yeah, his strength is also very underrated, and his footwork is like Floyd Mayweather. He's like watching the Olympics every time he's out there at wide receiver. All right, let's flip it over to the defensive side because we alluded to that in the red zone. But there were some guys today that stood out, and one to me was Ben Niemann. This is a guy with a preseason. We'll talk about this on the podcast that we're going to have up later. But this is a guy that emerged in the preseason a couple years ago. But I thought today he stood out.
Yeah, well, you look at the box score after games, and these are the kind of plays that he was making today that don't really end up in the box score. It's tip passes. It's playing with energy. It's being on your spot. And a ton of energy from the defense overall today, the linebacking core in particular, and Ben Niemann in particular, just getting his hands on a lot of footballs here today, causing disruptions of plays. And it's a beautiful thing because he's going against Patrick Mahomes, who can wrap the ball around just about anybody. And if you're still getting your hand on the ball and it's Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, you can do it against just about anyone.
And passes defense is the most devastating defensive stat that we don't give enough appreciation to because there needs to be somehow an extrapolation of how many yards there would have been made had the pass not been tipped, and there would have been a touchdown today had not Niemann tipped it. Okay, Dan Sorensen also had what maybe would have been a pick six, but I think the Cheetah would have run him down. At the very least, it's a red zone pick that he would have flipped the field on. Dan Sorensen, to me, is remarkable because we've seen him make huge plays against some of the best players in this league time and time again. And today it reminded us of that.
You know what stat I want to create is how many games has Dan Sorensen helped end during his career with the Chiefs? It's crazy, or helped comebacks. Think about the Texans game, a huge comeback. Think about the Mexico City game against L.A. a few years ago, ends that game in the red zone. Just last year, it helped end the Bills game and the Raiders game, pick six against the Broncos. The guy just makes plays, and you really don't see it in the box score once again, but the guy makes plays at the biggest moments, and we saw it here today, once again, facing Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in all of football. You can pick him off over the middle and maybe bring it back for a pick six, who knows. Those are game-changing plays, and we're seeing that from Dan every day.
Yep, and Spags loves him, the tool in the garage. I can do, I got that special tool because I can do 100 different things with him. All right, the team pivots now. We'll be flying to San Francisco, and preseason game number 1 will be Saturday night, 7:30 Central Time, against those 49ers that you might remember from Super Bowl 54. He's Matt McMullen. I'm Mitch Holthus. Thanks for being with us, Chiefs Kingdom, and now get ready for preseason game number 1.